What's going on, guys? I got Dylan and David on the line from Project 79. Guys, we've been trying to schedule this interview for so long. AIBC Asia had us caught up a little bit, but now here we are back in the studio, ready for this highly anticipated interview. Guys, how are you doing today? Why don't you start by introducing yourself, your positions within the company? Why don't you take it away for us, David?
Hi, I'm David, guys. David White. I'm the operations manager or contracts manager for Project 79. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on the channel, man. Dylan, tell us about yourself, man.
Yes, hey guys, my name's Dylan. I'm the project liaison manager here at Project 79. You might see me in the Discord. I look after the day-to-day and liaise between the projects, and work very closely with David on the platform. Nice to be here.
That's great, guys. I think that we should just jump right into the questions here because I'm sure everyone's ready for the action. I'm gonna start with the first question, and you guys can kind of maybe divide up the questions as you wish. I'm just gonna ask them and you guys can choose who answers, okay? So can you start off by giving us an overview of Project 79 and the mission that you guys are on as a project?
Yeah, absolutely. So Project 79, we're aiming to be the #1 token marketplace for real-world assets. So our goal is to tokenize real-world assets, predominantly focused in the gold or commodity industry. Project 79, the name came from the fact that gold is the 79th metal on the periodic table. And so Project 79, being that we tokenize gold-based opportunities, seemed very fitting. It was actually given to us by a community member. The initiative has been running for over a year now, and so we've built quite a cool community, a really vibrant community of people that are interested in not only real-world asset tokenization, but also gold and the gold supply chain as a whole. So very interested to talk today about how we have started on our journey to become that #1 platform for real-world assets or tokenized assets, and what we plan to do in the future in order to really take it to the next level.
Why don't you tell us about what opportunities are currently offered on the platform? Maybe David, if you want to take that one.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's three main investments, but just for your information, I was brought into Project 79 around 4 weeks ago. My background is traditional investment, private equity, corporate finance. I have been friends, however, with the founder of the company for many years. We used to sort of cross paths, on London trading floors. Adam Diggian, he's the founder of Project 79. He made me aware of what he was doing around 18 months ago. I've been keeping close tabs on the progress and development of Project 79. Adam made me an offer to come on board with Project 79 literally a few weeks back. I've literally agreed to come on board. So I left my desk in the city, as it were, and I will be assisting Adam with due diligence on future projects, providing attractive exit strategies, and so on and so forth. So there's three main projects, getting to the point, there's three main projects. You have the gold staking program, you have Burrow Coal Mining, which is a Ugandan mining project, but the one which I am most familiar with is Sahara Star. The reason I'm most familiar with Sahara Star is moving forward at a very fast pace. There's a lot of moving parts, and I was out in Mauritania. Mauritania is, for people that don't know, which I'm sure there is some, it's just south of Morocco in West Africa. So that's the one that excites me the most, if I'm honest, due to what I've seen and, from my meetings with the Sahara Star team. I was on the ground in Mauritania. I was there with them some 3 weeks ago. And essentially Sahara Star, they are packaging together various mining licenses and permits, and they have a deal in place, or they will have a deal in place with the Chinese with regards to an exit. Now, there's a lot happening in this space. Essentially, one of the guys behind Sahara Star, Andy, he is very well connected on the ground in Mauritania with ex-Minister of Mining, prominent government officials, tier 1 geologists, and so on and so forth. So out of the three projects, that's the one I'm most familiar with. I've literally got my feet under the desk, Professor, so I am familiarizing myself with the other two projects day by day, bringing myself up to speed on, the ins and outs of Borough Core and the GSP. But the one I've got most knowledge on is Sahara Star, as I've actually been out there and seen what these guys are doing firsthand. And it's a very exciting project, what they're doing. I mean, the guys are actually over in Mauritania right now, signing off on a JV with a joint venture with the Mauritanian government, which is going to increase the company's exposure and credibility in the African mining space tremendously. So that's essentially the three main investments. I mean, Dylan could probably give you a better rundown, let's say, on the other two projects, but Sahara Star is the one I've been mainly involved with since I came on board a matter of weeks ago.
Getting into the nitty gritty like that, putting your boots on, your hard hat on for the activity there and everything that you guys are doing, I think that that's very respectable. Dylan, if you want to continue with the other two.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other two, it's worth saying that because we're tokenizing, real world assets, essentially the long-term goal for Project 79 would be to tokenize any gold business within the supply chain. So these are real world businesses. We started off with Belcore Mining Company. We tokenized 40% of their economic rights to a mine in Uganda. So they own the mine. It's a piece of land. It's an operational mine. They're building the foundations. You can go onto their Twitter page. You'll see that they've got diggers come through. They're building out the wash plant area. They've got the wash plant coming in. There's a lot of capital equipment. So they're working the land to extract the gold and then selling it to refineries in Dubai and so forth. And so essentially what we've done with Belcore is that we've tokenized 40% of the gold that's still underneath the ground, or in other words, the economic rights to that gold. So it's a fixed supply token, so token holders or investors can get involved or own a piece of the economic rights to the gold underneath the ground. And then over the next 4 to 5 years, Belcore will be actively mining the gold so that the investors can then realize the yield that their tokens have access to, right? So that's Belcore mining. The second one is Sahara Star. That's an exploration company. So they have land and they're looking for gold. So the land is valued at a certain amount now, but of course, if they find gold, it's going to be valued at much higher. They also have other strategies like David mentioned, where they'll be JVing with the Mauritanian government because it's based in Mauritania, whereas Belcore is based in Uganda. And essentially, they'll be looking to expand their license holding that they have. So they're an exploration company, so they're a bit earlier on the supply chain than Belcore is. We also have gold staking program. Now, essentially, this is not tokenized per se. What you would do is you would come onto the platform and you would stake your USDC, USDT, any kind of stable coin, really. We have other chains on there. What you're investing in is contracts. We have contracts with South America. This one's a South American program where we would buy gold directly from our mining partners. So these are guys that are on the ground, they're working the mine, and they're looking to sell the gold right there. They don't want to go through exporting and so forth. They'll sell it to us. We would then export it again to Dubai and sell it to our partners there. The difference or the arbitrage that we make by doing that trade, we would share that with investors. So for the last 2 months, for example, GSP has returned 5% per month. And so you stake your stable coins to get exposure to these gold trading, real gold trading, not CFDs or digital instruments, for example, but actual physical buying gold on the ground and then selling it to a refinery. The difference would be shared, or that's the yield that you'd make rather from the staking program. So the goal is, these are the 3 first listings. You could choose which one suits your needs, what your investment criteria is, your portfolio needs. But for Project 79, the idea is that we could get more mines, more exploration companies. We could even do warehouses. There's also jewelry stores. Jewelry stores add value to the gold after it's been produced. So that's another a business operation that we could then tokenize. So any kind of real world operation, we could tokenize a percentage of their economic rights to a fixed token supply. and then that would give investors exposure to that operation, and also would give operators the chance to fundraise and build a community and access all the other benefits of.
Wow. Okay. So I was actually going to say, Dylan, so you've answered my next question, is to explain the tokenization. That's phenomenal, man. You've explained it for us there. So that's great. Thank you. So moving on to the next question. Can you talk more about the team and their background?
Yeah, so absolutely. So there's David and I, of course. So we would do a lot of the AMA shows. You see us in the Discord, and really we're trying to get behind it, the due diligence of the project. So for example, David went out to Sahara Star. He met the Sahara Star team. We'll be going out to Uganda as well to meet the Belcore team. So we're a marketplace. The operators themselves are gold experts. They're coming onto Project 79 to utilize our crypto expertise and so forth. And so what we do is we will go and vet these guys, make sure they're doing what they're saying they're doing and so forth to the best that we can, and report back to the community. In terms of who started the whole Project 79 journey, we have the founding team, which is made up of Adam Dignan, Sam Pittman, Anderson, and Adam Javade. That's the 4 founding team. It's the same founding team of the Hydro Whales Mining Club, which was an NFT collection, a 10K NFT collection. It's still going. It's got 300 Bitcoin miners backing it. But essentially, Project 79 was a launchpad project off the back of Hydro Whales Mining Club. So it has the same founding team. And then obviously, we've since expanded by myself, David. Now, it's worth remembering that that's our marketplace team. So we the tech, we help the operators come and have a token generation event, build a community and so forth, leveraging our experience from building Hydro Whales and operating within crypto. But then each of these projects would naturally have their own individual teams, right? Because essentially they are the ones coming with their gold expertise, their own operation, and they're tokenizing. And then Project 79 is the one that would list those tokens and make them available via secondary market. So Belcore has its own team. It's got 20 years of experience, headed up by Phil Burley. They've got direct experience in Uganda, which is their country of operation. They have 20, I believe, from the last AMA. So this would be teams, Western contractors to you guys. We had one guy called Lee, who's their civil engineer, because these are mining operations, a lot more engineering talent. You have a lot of ground force workers and so forth. So there's a large local Ugandan team that are there, digging the trenches, processing, and so forth. Dave, do you want to speak a little bit on the Sahara Star team? Because obviously you met them down in Mauritania.
Yeah, so Sahara Star is comprised of a gentleman called Anand Ashwani. He is the founder or the owner of Sahara Star. You have a fellow Scotsman, Gavin McDonald, who is the CEO. Gavin and Andy, as I mentioned earlier, are currently in Mauritania, in the capital city of Nouakchott, signing off on a very lucrative JV with the Mauritanian government. They also have a guy on the ground there on a full-time basis, Raju, who is Andy's cousin. And there's a number of other geologists the company are engaging with at the moment to assist them with their journey forward. Now, one of the main mining sites in Mauritania is held by a major miner called Kinross. Now, Kinross paid $8 billion for an area of land not so far from where Sahara Star are identifying various mining licenses. Now, the geologist who identified the Tassia mine, which is what Kinross own, he's not officially engaged, but he is going to be their go-to man on the ground, let's say, as far as doing geology surveys, topology surveys, as well as obviously their connection to the Mauritanian government. My understanding is the JV has actually been made possible by Abdullahi, the geologist I'm referring to. So he's very well respected on the ground there, this guy. I met him myself when I was over there. So when I was over there 3 weeks ago, we flew from the capital north shot down to the border, because Mauritania borders Mali and Senegal to the south, and that's probably where the biggest mineral hotspot is. So Gavin and Andy have secured a mining license or permit for an area of 5,000 square kilometers, a huge, vast area of land. Now, obviously, it's impossible to prospect such a vast area in a short space of time. So the guys on the ground there, the geologist Abdullahi, along with his counterparts, they are going to point Sahara Star in the right direction and essentially pinpoint where they feel is going to be the best places for them to start exploration. Obviously, being such a vast area. I know 2,000 square kilometers, for example, is the equivalent of London. So we're talking an area double the size of London, more. So it's very important and crucial they have such good connections on the ground, Andy and Gavin, because Andy's family, they are essentially from the Canary Islands, which is just off the coast of Mauritania. As Andy explained to the P79 community last week, his family have been doing trade with Mauritania for around 70, 80 years, various family, generations of family. So that's where Andy's strong connections with Mauritania, that's how they come about, because Andy is very well connected with government ministers, top geologists, and so on and so forth. So moving forward, they are very well positioned to seal the deals that they have in mind, as well as having other opportunities put in their laps due to the connections that Andy, for one, has on the ground there in Mauritania. I mean, that's the one that excites me most out of the three. I'll be honest, I haven't scrutinised or studied Borough Court as much as, I was literally away with the guys of Sahara Star in Mauritania. I've been doing a lot of work with the guys there, and from what I can see, it's a project that should deliver tremendous returns for the token holders involved, and I'm looking forward to seeing the announcements that Gavin and Andy will have for us later this week.
That sounds great. Guys. I mean, I think we definitely have a holistic background now about your team and what we can expect in terms of qualifications and the quality of work that they're going to be producing. So tell us, are there any plans in the future to expand the types of assets that can be tokenized in the future?
So on Project 79, it's likely that we would stick to gold-based businesses. So we would look to really become the number one platform. So if anyone's looking for a real world asset that's being tokenized and it's in the gold industry, then we want them to think of Project 79. And that's the place to go to. You're looking to get into the gold business. It's tokenized exposure, maybe not direct exposure by owning the asset itself. Then you can come to Project 79, and that's really where we want to, and the name is fitting as well, right? In terms of like different assets as well, as a team, Hydra Wells, like I mentioned, is our base, and we have different launchpad projects. So we do have a secondary project because we've seen the success with Project 79 of actually tokenizing. There's multiple reports coming through that tokenization of real world assets is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And so, we want to position ourselves as experts and really getting into not only the gold and commodity side of tokenizing, but other areas as well, although it would be under a different brand.
Can you elaborate on any upcoming features or developments that the platform is going to be working on?
So on the 13th of this month, of September, we are actually launching the peer-to-peer trading tech stack. So at the moment, you could get into the primary sales of each of the token listings. So either Sahara Star, GSP, Belcore. Belcore and GSP are generating yield already. Obviously, Sahara Star, once they hit their buyout or liquidity event, they will also have a big payout there. But for the moment, you could enter into the primary sales. And on the 13th of September, what we're doing is we're launching the OTC aspect. So people will be able to trade the tokens amongst each other. It's a secondary market. The tech stack will be launching that, and people will be able to make an account. Essentially, you would hold your tokens in your MetaMask, and then if you wanted to sell or buy more on the secondary market, because remember, these tokens are capped, it's a fixed supply. So in the case of Sahara Star, it's 5 million tokens. In the case of Buildcore, it's 100,000 tokens. And so, these tokens on the primary sale are capped. And then, once those sales are complete, the only place for you to get some, or if you wanted to say liquidate part of your holdings, would be to do so on the secondary market. And so we're launching that on the 13th of September. People can create accounts and they can start trading the tokens if of course they own some already.
Okay, so how do you see the future of asset tokenization and its potential impact on traditional investment markets? What are your thoughts on that, guys?
My thoughts, Professor, my background, as I mentioned earlier in the AMA, is private equity, corporate finance. I spent many years working in the City of London, trading bonds, futures, derivatives, traditional investment, let's say. And, I appreciate that crypto is becoming more and more prominent. Whether we like it or not, maybe the old-fashioned traditional investment guys aren't too keen on crypto, but even I still maintain a relationship with some of my cornerstone investors, guys who used to invest, in excess of millions, in various projects and deals with me on the private side. And they are slowly but surely coming around to the fact that whether they like it or not, crypto is not, I wouldn't say it's the only way forward, but whether they like it or not, crypto is becoming more of a mainstay within the general financial community. As I mentioned, I've been keeping close sort of tabs on Adam's Project 79 platform and seeing how things are progressing, and sort of checking in with Adam, once every sort of month, just to see how things are going. And I was obviously aware that it was growing at a very fast pace, and I was becoming a little bit long in the tooth with life in the city, if I'm honest. Jumping on the 6 o'clock in the morning train every morning and trading on the trading floor till 7 o'clock every evening. So when Adam said, look, there's an opportunity for you here at Project 79, I grabbed it with both hands, because it's a breath of fresh air for me, Professor, because everything's a lot more transparent. The tokenization of assets is a very good thing, and also accessibility for one, because in typical private equity markets, I was dealing mainly in the last few years with initial public offerings, pre-IPOs, and to participate in such an offering, you would need to be an accredited investor, high net worth, sophisticated, and minimum could be 10, 20,000 pounds, dollars. Whereas the crypto market, it's much more accessible for guys that just want to invest $500, $1,000, and I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's correct for people to be, maybe discrimination is the wrong word, but for people to be sort of locked out of an investment due to the fact they don't meet the criteria, as it were, for minimums and net worth and things like that. So that's one of the beauties of the crypto market, and I think year on year we're going to see more money from traditional private equity markets move across into the crypto sector for sure, for a whole number of reasons. And being honest, as I mentioned, obviously my background is in crypto, so I am literally learning day by day. Obviously bringing myself up to speed with the whole crypto, sort of space. And I find it hugely exciting. I think what Project 79 are doing as a company is tremendous. And I'm very happy that I've taken up the position that I have with Project 79 some weeks ago.
I'm going to ask you guys the last question here, because we are running out of time. So, and I don't know if you guys want to each take a part of this or one person answer, you guys choose. But are there any incentives or rewards for early investors in tokenized assets on the platform? I think that that's a good question to end off in. So anyone that wants to take something from the video, they can take that. right?
I'll go. So just to be clear, like each opportunity that you invest in within P79, because it's a tokenized real world asset, this is backed by revenue generating events within the real world. So for example, with Belcore, it's that they're actively mining the gold under the ground, and then that's what they would sell to generate the revenue. With Sahara Star, they're actively exploring their licenses when gold is found, and then they would increase the value of their licenses. That would be the value created. And with the gold staking program, you obviously return in a yield from the trading that's going on. So each program or each token within the project has an inbuilt yield functionality that you can explore already. So you would have to dive into each of their white papers. I would encourage you to come over to our Discord, onto our website, and just have a look at each listing, and then have a look through how they what their yield offering is, and if that's beneficial for you. It's worth noting that tokenization also, just like any other token, has a price action that could be beneficial as well. So for example, Belcore or Sahara Star, if their price, as announcements come out, as they get bigger and better in terms of their operation, more content, more marketing is done, it's likely that the price of the tokens could go up. Remember, it's a fixed supply, and so there's the price action that could be beneficial to investors as well. The last thing I would say is that the ultimate goal for P79 as a platform is to be a DAO. And so as a result, we will be looking at launching or releasing DAO tokens. This would be based on people that have already invested into tokens previously or actively engaged in the Discord server or our Zeely platform. We would then do an airdrop of DAO tokens to said users based on how active they were. And obviously we would also have a schedule for the remaining DAO tokens, and the DAO tokens would be used for voting mechanisms and so forth to dictate the future of the platform as a whole. So that would be like a third way that you could get rewarded. The more you use the platform and engage within the community, the higher the airdrop of the actual governance token would be when we launch that.
Well said. Well, is there anything else you guys want to leave off with?
As far as Sahara Star is concerned, I was speaking to Gavin McDonald last Friday before we set off to Africa again. The feeling I get, I mean, just touching on your question, Professor, with regards to early stage investment, the Sahara Star raise is comprised of 5 million tokens at the figure of 60 cents. Okay, from what I can gather, the token price on the Sahara Star offering is going to increase, I don't know exact figures, maybe to 85, potentially $1 imminently, due to the fact they'll be releasing information about the JV being signed off in Mauritania, which is a huge sort of milestone for the company, as well as other sort of contributing factors. So the impression I got from my conversation with Gavin is, you know, if you were to get involved in Sahara Star, now would be the time, because I expect in a couple of weeks, maybe even sooner, the actual offer price on the token is going to increase probably 30% to reflect the development and progress the company have made in the last few weeks. But just for your information.
Great. Well, that's good to know, and I'm sure everyone watching is going to really appreciate that information, David. So thank you again, guys, for coming on the channel. We really enjoyed having you. Your project sounds amazing. Hopefully we can do some follow-up videos on your project, maybe another interview, maybe a web review, something like that. I'm sure all the audience would love to see that. Thanks again, guys, for being on the channel, and we really hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Really hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing some more crypto reviews and exclusive international blockchain events. We are the channel for that, guys, as you know. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.